Weather that mini storm from Mark Williams, guys.
Yeah, I mean, the frame before was a settler, wasn't it? But he's potted 2 reds here. I mean, the first one, there's hardly any pocket to go for, and he's absolutely drilled this. There's virtually nothing to go past the blue. He's had to pot this, actually, in the left-hand side of the pocket, which over that distance was some shot. Beautifully played. And he was at it again, Sean, shortly after.
This one was a little bit different. You know, it didn't have any obstacles in his way, but, you know, just as pressurised. 2 wonderful shots there, and as you say, you know, there was just a hint of a small panic station, wasn't there, to start tonight's session, but totally weathered it now, and that's the benefit of making such a strong start this afternoon.
How would you read it from both of their perspectives now, John?
Well, Zhao Xintong will be delighted with that, especially after the first 2 frames this evening, but we mentioned it before, he's a scorer. And his long game is fantastic, and if he keeps scoring like this, he doesn't score 30. Every time he gets in, he tends to score 70, 80 and wins in one visit, and that changes scoreboards very quickly. Yeah.
Frustrating for Mark Williams because he set out, as I say, looked like he had rediscovered some of the touch that was not in evidence greatly this afternoon.
Yeah, totally, and it looks as if maybe that black in the 3rd frame tonight, we said at the time, we don't have the clip, but we had said at the time, maybe that was just one shot too far, finished on a very low black, trying to cut it back into the corner. Maybe might have just overexerted himself there on that one particular shot. And, you know, at this level, it can be one shot that turns it.
OK, well, they're back shortly, but whilst they are out, just regrouping, we will focus on some of the very strong storylines that we've had over the last few days, not least the performances of 3 of the most enduring champions, Mark Williams himself and John Higgins and Ronnie O'Sullivan. Now, that class have all either run up the half-century or are about to turn 50. They all turned professional 33 years ago, and they are still a class cohort. Matthew Syed, who's a bit of a classy act himself in the sporting department, has been eulogising about the trio.
We're still at the top of the game in an era where it's harder than ever to be there.
Parallel careers, you know, just playing on the tour together, pushing each other, driving each other on. You know, one from Scotland, one from Wales, one from England, so there's always that good competitive rivalry.
Seems to be the older you get in, the years are flying past quicker than ever.
You know what? There might be hope for all of us. There are 3 guys here, around the age of 50, 33 years after turning professional, and yet they've still got the glint in their eye, a spring in their step, and pure magic in their cueing arms.
Absolutely brilliant, Mark Williams. Brilliant.
It's incredible that they're still around, they're still at the top of the game, they're still, you know, at the cutting edge of the game. They're not just hanging on, they're leading the charge, still expanding what's possible within snooker.
They've been playing as pros for 33 years. Do you have any analysis of how they've managed to sustain their passion for the game, but also their form?
Yeah, they're naturally gifted in what they do on the planet, and so therefore they're in the right job, but also they have the temperament to be able to play in massive finals on the biggest stage of all, as if it was down the club, as if it didn't mean as much as it does. And that is only a little bit experience. I think you've just got to be born with it, and that's the one thing I don't think you can teach.
First and foremost, you've got to still love playing the game. You've got to love the game to be able to still be doing it this long. You've got to have obviously a lot of skill to be able to do it this well. On the other side, it says a bit about the other players coming up. You know, where's the young players coming up to take over? Because obviously I took over from Steve took over from the previous. Then, you know, so that they've not, you know, they've not had anyone young coming up and sort of taking over their mantle, as it were. But because they've been so good.
You said they love the game. Now, obviously they are passionate and find some joy in it, but the times I've interviewed O'Sullivan, occasionally talked to Higgins, and even Williams, they've fallen out of love with the game from time to time. Give us an insight into the low moments that they've had.
You hate when you don't play well. I stopped because I couldn't perform the way I wanted to perform. From winning for me was everything, and when I couldn't win, I hated the game. But I still love playing the game. I mean, even now, you know, I love having a cue in my hand, potting balls, even though I don't play the way I used to.
Every elite performer goes through moments when they wonder why they started out in the first place. And for Ronnie, Mark and John, the low points have been very, very low.
Maybe about 10 years ago, I think I went down to something like 47 in the world, and you know, it looked for Evans that there was probably going to end up dropping off the tour.
Mark Williams, he was going to give up 4 years ago, but he's now back in the big time.
I think as you get older, you seem to accumulate maybe more battle scars, which then maybe makes it a little bit tougher to go over the winning line.
John Higgins will be so disappointed.
This game has got a way of humbling any snooker player that plays this game. It is a really, really hard game, and every player goes through their struggles at some point in their career.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Jiao Xingzhong, he's in the final.
I had a real sort of technical and mental problem that people call the yips, which caused me to stop playing snooker, basically, because I just couldn't play the shots I wanted to play, be it for a physical or a mental reason. I don't know. I still have not explained it. As far as I know, these three haven't hit anything as badly as that. They're still able to play the shots that they want to play. I was avoiding so many shots because I knew I couldn't play them because of my ailment, for want of a better word. So I think the three of them are still, you know, able to play the shots they want to play, and that's a huge. It's like if I was able to do that, I'd probably pick up a cue and go back and play now if I could, you know, play every shot that I wanted to play.
To endure, to come out the other side, to overcome the demons, that to me is the stuff of greatness. And when the light does come on after the darkness, it's often more vivid and brighter than ever before.
Single-player sports like snooker, they demand so much sacrifice. As a younger player, it's easier to devote yourself totally to snooker, and to see that these, you know, players have gone through life's challenges, and now as older men, you know, with families and loved ones and all of those things in life that distract from 6, 7, 8 hour practice sessions a day, 6 days a week, to have gone through all of that and to still be at the top of the game is amazing.
They've captured hearts and minds. Okay, maybe it's a bit easier in snooker to stay at the top. It's not the 100-metre sprint, but it is still, I think, unusual, unconventional, inspirational.
The main thing that stands out from my career is, I suppose, longevity. And longevity, still playing to a good level, which is probably the most proud thing I could probably say about my career.
It's not always about winning, it's about enjoying the game. And I do love the game, I just don't enjoy it when I have prolonged periods of not executing the shots as well as I know I can, you know, so that kind of chips away at you.
How we still all go in, the three of us, I don't know. I haven't got a clue. It'd be interesting if someone got a reason, maybe, you know, we're pretty good.
And I think that's what makes the story of the class of '92 so resonant. It's not just what they've achieved here at the Crucible in 2025, it's the journey they've taken to get here.
And our thanks to Matthew, British table tennis legend and a quite superb sports writer and broadcaster. Now, not long ago at the Masters, none of these guys were in the quarterfinals, and we did wonder if their influence was waning, but this is the latest world rankings released just today, and natural sporting logic has been confounded again because Williams is bounced up to world number 3, Higgins at 4, O'Sullivan still at 5. Earlier in this season, Mark Williams said his sole ambition in life was to still be in the top 16 at 50, and now he's in another, and indeed a 5th world ranking final. As Matthew says, it is a very unusual situation. Can you think of any other sports in which we have a triumvirate that are still going at this age and at this standard, Sean?
No. John and I are big golf fans. Like the triumvirate of Palmer, Player, and Nicklaus spring to mind as three, trailblazers in the world of golf. But they weren't at the same, age of their life and stage of their life, and necessarily prowess either of these three. It's probably something that in the world of sport doesn't get the recognition that it ought to. All of us in the snooker bubble totally idolised the class of '92. Probably to the detriment of our own play a little bit every now and again. But in the world of sport and the wider context, they perhaps don't get the recognition that they so easily deserve.
You mentioned the triumvirate. Jack Nicklaus was 46 when he won the
Yeah.
last of his majors, John, obviously, but Ronnie's been 46, 47 and 48. He owns the records for the oldest guy to win all of the 3 Triple Crowns, and yet at 50 years of age, here is Mark Williams. The key question is, why? For me, there is a sort of an argument to say that they were schooled in an old era and they actually helped create a new one. Davis, Hendry, and now themselves. What do you think?
It's a freak of nature. An absolute freak of nature. The 3 of them came along, one from Wales, one from Scotland, one from England. They've all pushed each other on right from junior level. I remember seeing them in the Mitre World Masters in Birmingham playing in a junior final, and I looked at them, and I was playing at the top of the game then, looked at them and went, oh, better earn a few quid here with these two. I've never seen a junior event like it. And then poor old Joe Perry was the other one who came along in an era like that, probably was sick of seeing them. But you'll never see the likes of it again. You've got one of the most all-time geniuses in O'Sullivan and 2 of the greatest ever match players in Williams and Higgins. It will never happen again.
Well, we do know that age catches up with us all, and we thought that it was Mark Williams' vision that effectively would be the catalyst for decline. But he's gone full blur here. No contact lenses and no glasses, and he's made it to the Crucible final. And he's beaten oldies and youngsters and the current world #1 as well, Judd Trump, along the way. And he's been reflecting with his old mate, Stephen Hendry, on all of that.
So it's 25 years since your first win here. Could 50-year-old Mark Williams beat 25-year-old Mark Williams? Are you a better player now?
Yeah, I think I could.
Because John Higgins said he thinks he's a better player now.
I couldn't outpot him.
Right.
No chance.
Okay.
But I think my all-round game now is a lot stronger than it was when I was 25. But I think back then I was a better potter. I was a pretty decent break builder back then, but I think phenomenal potter. But all-round game is much better now, 100%.
What would you say is your main strength now? Temperament? Being able to forget
it's always
bad
been
shots?
my temperament because, you know, I can pot any ball on the table at the minute and I can miss anything. And I mean a ball like that in the middle, I can miss it. But I just don't care about it. I know I'm going to miss some easy balls. I know it's coming. The exciting part is I don't know when it's coming. I don't know when that arm is going to stop too quick and I'm going to miss. But I can miss anything. And I just, as soon as I sat in my chair, I forgot about it.
You've always told me that you don't like the Crucible as a venue.
Yeah.
How come you play your best snooker here? Is it because it's a World Championship? The long frame matches? What is it?
No, I've changed my mind on the Crucible. I've always said it's a bit cramped with two tables. Once it goes to one table set, it was the best venue in the world. Nothing creates tension and drama like this place does. I don't know why. The Masters is a good one as well, mate.
In the dressing room, I've been in your dressing room. You obviously got Joe, you got your boys, you got Lee. Is it amazing to have them here because they've been the whole tournament from round 1? That must be amazing for you to win
it's good.
with them here.
Yeah, when I'm doing well at my age and they all come to watch me is good because I never had that really. It was pretty much on my own with my mate. But yeah, in the dressing room, anyone can come in my dressing room. The door's wide open.
Well, I walk past and all I hear is, "We're in here, fatty."
Yeah.
Nice guy you are.
I got no routine or nothing. I don't focus in or do anything.
When do you switch on? Because obviously you're in the dressing room. You're just you could be. We were talking about bacon sandwiches today.
Yeah.
You're 10-10. You go out and then when do you switch on? Just basically when you get in the arena.
I don't really switch on, Steve.
You do. You must switch on. You can't play the snooker without.
When I'm out, then I break off. It's like, there's a match on now. I said, but I got no routine of switching on or switching off. I just go out there and do it. I mean, like I've always said, same old cliche, what's the worst thing that can happen when you lose a snooker game? That's it. That's the worst thing that can happen. Ain't that bad, is it?
How long do you reckon you can keep this up?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe 75? Something like that. Maybe see where I am when I'm 75.
I hope I'm not commentating you at 75.
You me.
That means I'm 81.
Oh, you'd be in a Zimmer frame.
I'm 81.
Yeah.
No. What do you think Terry would be think if he was here another?
Oh, I think he'd love it.
Yeah. I mean, does he? Probably he wouldn't. You didn't think you're going to be another one after 2018. He probably didn't. I mean,
he definitely wouldn't have thought I'd get to another one. Don't worry about that. But look, it's brilliant. You know, we've lost. Sadly, we lost Ray and Terry. Maybe I got one on each shoulder. Willing me on, you know.
You're not stripping off of you?
Absolutely not. No, that was 7 years ago. I'm a bit tubbier now.
Yeah, you were talking about me. You're just.
I know, Steve, but you know, never mind. No, there's nothing happening.
Anyway,
This little peg
congratulations.
guy is staying in the trousers, Steve.
Oh, congratulations. Another final.
Thanks,
Good
Steve.
luck. Good luck.
My
Play
old
well.
friend.
Oh, great to hear the two of them chatting away there. At 75 years of age, wow, still got a long way to go. How long do you think he will keep playing because of all of these aches and pains and just the process of ageing, Joel?
Till he's not happy with the level he's producing. Simple as. I mean, we all know we get there. Don't worry about that. When you can't pot the balls that you used to and you find it a chore and you start losing to people you know you would have beaten, then it's time to go. Thank you very much.
It's not just the sort
He's
of...
on that reckoning I should have retired years ago.
I'm just about to tell you, by the way, your career's over.
A lot of the older guys, I don't count you in that bracket, obviously, Sean, will say that it's the focus and concentration that starts to go.
Oh, yeah.
But in terms of nerve as well, that's not gone. That is as sharp and keen as it ever was, and I think that's what's remarkable.
As a younger man, I didn't believe Mark Williams when he used to say, I don't care. And, you know, in that interview there, he says, I don't switch on, I don't have a pre-match routine. I didn't believe all that. I thought it was bluster. The more time I've spent around him, the better I've got to know him, I realise that he's actually telling the truth. He is uncrackable, he's unflappable, and he just plays snooker. And that's his biggest attribute.
He's an amazing man, and he can not only become the oldest world champion, he could become the oldest ever world ranking title winner, because it was Ray Reardon was 50 in 14 days when he won his last one, and the great Welshman, I'm sure, will be very proud of his efforts here. So, quick recap of events so far this evening, and then we'll be all set to go again.